Battery's about to die. Da-da-da-da-da. Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing some GoPro testing today, and just so you know, this is being shot right now on the GoPro Hero 8 Black. So this audio that you're hearing is coming directly off the camera. There's no microphones, it's exactly as it is, so we're going to test that out, see what that sounds like as well. I'll be mounting this to the front of my van, so this will be a good test to see whether there's wind noise on the van. And yeah, we'll just do a couple of different things. So I'll show you where I went wrong, and I'll also show you the footage if I just use the stock standard sort of more auto settings of the GoPro. So my advice so far is if to get really slick footage out of this camera, that it's definitely going to be worthwhile investing in some ND filters for bright sun. But other than that, it's looking pretty slick. So let's go have a look at some footage I got, and I'll go through the different things that went wrong and hopefully what I got right. So, never have I ever beaten the garbage truck up in the morning. And there's the garbage truck out there. The footage technically worked in as far as the stabilization worked really well, but the camera settings didn't work so well for this particular shot. The sky was completely blown out. Okay, so as you can probably tell from that blown out footage that I really did need some sort of ND filter to try and cut that down, because without going the stock standard GoPro settings, that with the GoPro color and everything on auto, there's no way of controlling that light without really pushing the shutter speed, which will then put you out of your 180 degree rule and make your motion a bit weird. So anyway, I will now step to some footage that I did with the auto settings on and the GoPro color, and you can have a look at that now. As you can see from the footage, the stabilization actually works really well. I had mine set to high. I didn't go with boosted. I've heard some reports that boosted can give some warping and not look very great, so I just stuck with high. I will try boosted at some point soon. I just didn't for this particular video, but I will try it, see what I think. But at the moment, high was really smooth for being attached to the front of a bull bar on a van. I also had a go at the time warp feature, which I'll show you some footage now. That came out really good. I was really happy with how that worked. Easy to use. The settings on that were pretty stock. I used the GoPro color for that one. I used it on auto. As you can see, obviously, that the sky's still nice in color and that. I would like to try that again once I've got some ND filters, because I still think that's going to be the most important thing. I think getting those ND filters is going to make this camera very usable. I'm going to go and catch up with my mate Jack, who runs Amelia Espresso in Launceston, and try and get a coffee. So let's head there now. So it is 5 minutes to 7, and people get up at this time, and it's weird. Like that person. Yeah, weirdo. So, still waiting for coffee. Still waiting. Hurry up, Jack. know what that means. It's coffee time. Coffee time! So, back to the GoPro, yeah? Actually had the app inside the car with the camera outside the car, and I was able to hit start from inside the car with no dramas. Occasionally I've had a couple of issues connecting to the camera. Sometimes it just hangs on connecting and it'll say camera, even though it says camera found there, sometimes it'll just freak out like it's doing right now. So still trying to connect, and I'll get nothing. So this is one issue I've noticed quite a bit with the app.
A few moments later.
Still got nothing. I don't know if recording at the same time makes any difference. Oh no, there we go. This time we've connected. So the other thing that we got up to today was, if you remember Jack from the coffee store earlier, Jack's also the singer in my band, Super Mega, and we recorded some vocals. So here's some snippets of Jack doing his thing. Hold a breath. The making of Soup of Mangoes, take 5010.
Also, this is not take 5,000.
It is on this album.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We are very much looking forward to getting this album finished, but yeah, lots more to do yet, but stay tuned, I'll keep you posted on that. Cool, so all that footage of Jack was actually recorded on the GoPro as well. All the sound that you're hearing is coming through the microphone on the GoPro, so it held up fairly good to the volume that Jack was kicking out, which I was quite surprised with. In summary, there's a lot to like about this little camera, and there's a couple of things that are a little bit annoying, and one of those things is the app. The app connecting issue is just a pain, and it should be, in this day and age, it should be so much simpler to be able to connect. If this was out in the field and I was trying to get some footage, I would literally have just missed whatever I was trying to do if I was worried about the app. If you're just using the GoPro without the app, then not so much of a concern. So the app in itself I actually quite like, and I like the features that are in the app, like being able to have the GoPro mounted outside the car and be able to hit record from inside the car when to start and not have to get out and press record and then jump back in and all those things. Really think that's good. I like being able to see what the camera's looking at because you get a live view. There's a little bit of lag, but you do get a live view. So those things are really good. Please GoPro fix the connection thing because that sucks. Obviously from the footage that you've seen today, you saw the issue I had with being in too much sunlight, and then obviously the other issue being not having enough light and getting a little bit of, as I think you might notice in some of this footage, there's a little bit of noise that this camera kicks out. Even with my lighting setup, I'm still finding with it on as bright as I can get, and my ISO is set at about 200, that I still get a little bit of noise with this camera. If you use the auto settings, you don't seem to notice it so much, but like I said earlier on, that does rely on changing the shutter speed, which doesn't always follow the ideal rules for video. Getting some sort of ND filter to run on the GoPro. I think Polar Pro makes some. I'm going to have a look at theirs. I think with those filters you'd be able to use the more sort of pro settings rather than just having to go with the auto stuff all the time. But as it stands, without those filters you would have to use the auto feature to be able to get your colouring right. Otherwise it just looks all blown out like you saw earlier on. So hit me up with some comments and let me know if there's anything that you guys would recommend that I try with settings or with the camera itself from what you've seen of what I just did today. I haven't had the camera very long, so I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and really nut out all the settings and play with everything yet and try everything, so I'm still sort of making my way through it. But this was pretty much my first real crack at getting out and getting some footage, and these were the results I had. So hope you enjoyed the video. Click subscribe and all the YouTube bits and pieces that you do, all the bells and all that stuff. So it's still there, it's still YouTube. But yeah, hit me up. All right, later.